Beginning on August 1st, a number of state schools in Texas will have to allow students to conceal carry on the campuses. And the University of Houston is responding to it by having a chat with their professors to let them know what they can do to prevent any possible violence. Now, during a meeting of the professors, there was one slide that made it to the press, and the slide is pretty damning. It gives tips to avoid the violence. Tip number one is be careful discussing sensitive topics. Drop certain topics from your curriculum. Do not, quote, go there if you sense anger, and limit student access off hours. Basically, do everything that defeats the whole purpose of having a college education in the first place, where you're supposed to discuss controversial ideas, where you're supposed to exchange ideas, and honestly, get offended. That's what a college campus is about. You're supposed to get offended. Your feelings are supposed to get hurt. You're supposed to think, and you're supposed to be questioned. And unfortunately, now we're living in an age where we're afraid of getting shot and killed, so don't ruffle any feathers.
So conservatives get mad at liberals if they argue for safe spaces. This is, I guess, literally an unsafe space because everybody's bringing guns. Safe space was supposed to be more metaphorical, right? And they get mad at them because they say, look, in a college campus, you're supposed to challenge one another, not have PC police say what they can and can't say. Now they're turning around and saying, oh, this is wonderful. Like, be careful what you say because we might shoot you, right? Now, of course, they say, no, good guy with a gun is what stops a bad guy with a gun. Now, our intention is not to shoot the professors, but look at this result. And so this is really interesting and damning of the idea of letting everyone have guns everywhere, not just based on the shootings, but because of the other effects that they have. So when you have everybody with weapons, well, now you've chilled everybody's speech. You've chilled everyone's actions. In some ways, that might be good. Hey, don't get road rage and start fighting each other, and you might be less inclined to do that if you think the other guy's got a gun. But in a lot of ways, it's disastrous, where we never discuss sensitive topics anymore. We don't, quote, go there on a college campus. Go where?
You're supposed to go there on a college campus.
Go there means have an interesting conversation, you know, and say, hey, whether it doesn't matter what the politics is, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with politics. It could be a science class, could be a history class, and have a conversation that challenges the mind. Don't go there. Don't go there because someone might shoot you in the face. And drop certain topics from your curriculum?
I mean, this is crazy. And when you really think about it, it will serve as a deterrent for certain people who might want to be professors. And they know that they're going to be on a college campus where a number of college students who might not be thinking straight have guns. Look, I don't want to ban guns, okay? I just want common sense gun control. I teach. I go on a college campus. I teach students. Some students honestly get heated when you get into certain discussions, especially when it comes to journalism, political science. I remember when I was a political science student, I remember getting into huge arguments with this one conservative in class, right? And I loved it. I loved it. It made the whole experience great. But it would definitely deter me as a student from engaging in that kind of conversation, knowing that there's a possibility that that person's armed. And it would certainly deter me as a professor from even wanting to teach. I don't want to be on a college campus like that. I don't want to be in a classroom like that.
So this is insanity in 100 different ways. But also, if you're a conservative and you're like, yeah, I love this policy, man, it's going to be great. Everybody's going to be intimidated by me, and I'm going to get to enforce my political correctness. You better not offend me, otherwise I'll shoot you. I got a gun. Okay, think twice. You know, liberals can also have guns. Black students can also have guns. Okay, so, for example, I'll give you an example from my life, right? I used to be a conservative when I was in college and in law school, right? And some woman said that you're going to love this, okay, that he's so large and overweight that he intimidates us with the force of his language and his mere body size.
Wow.
Okay. Now, if you're a conservative and you're in my category, maybe those women think, I got to protect myself from this loudmouth, overweight conservative guy. I'm going to carry a weapon. Okay. Whoa. We didn't, wait. We didn't mean you can carry a weapon. Oh, right. Anyone can. Now, I know what they're thinking. No, since we're the douchebags that resort to violence more, we're more likely to carry a weapon. You're probably right about that. But at some point, like the Black Panthers did back in the 1960s, they're going to be like, hey, I read the Constitution. It doesn't say white people get to have guns. It says everybody gets to have guns. And so then when everybody's packing on a college campus where there are a lot of tense moments, a lot of drunk moments,
You know what's interesting? Oftentimes, when it comes to the most avid pro-gun advocates, right, they will make the argument that the Second Amendment protects the First. But in this case, the Second Amendment is actually hurting the First Amendment because it's not being interpreted appropriately, right? If you interpret it as let's give guns to everyone and allow guns everywhere and loosen any type of restriction or control, well, then you actually hurt free speech because you're living in an environment of paranoia, of fear, where people don't want to say what they need to say, where they don't want to say anything controversial. Look, here's what I want on college campuses, and this might be a controversial thing to say, but I don't care. I want people to get offended, which is why I don't want safe spaces, and I don't want guns on college campuses. I want people to freely express their ideas and their thoughts. That's what college is for. And when you do anything to deter people from doing that, I'm against it.
To which I add, of course!